Thanks for listening to The Professional Edge. We're talking about pivoting, and my name is Todd, tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. When I say talk about the pivot, well, that means you're going to A, change directions because you need to. For example, if a road is detoured, guess what? You're going to go on the detour, you're going to pivot, and you're going to change direction. So that's what we're looking at right now in the economy. And that is you need to make a pivot because of the changing conditions that we are experiencing. Yes, the market has capitulated or moved back off the high mark by roughly 8 to 10%, depending on the day and the headline news. So your portfolio is down from the high. That's okay because in 2021, the S&P returned, north of 15%, heading north of 15% rate of return, which bodes well for all the equity investors. But, individuals become complacent when they get better than rates of return in their portfolio. They think, A, it's on autopilot, or they just say, you know what, I have my 401k, I'm investing in this life cycle fund. Listeners here on the Professional Edge will say, okay, I know what that is. It's a 2050 fund, 2035 fund. And if you're doing that and that's on autopilot, well, we definitely need to have a conversation to A, educate you on why you need to pivot potentially away from that holding. We can share that information with you, do the analysis, and then you just sort of go, okay, because all the individuals that we have sat down and made that analysis with have just said, okay, I understand it better. I'm not going to put 100% of my portfolio allocation in my 401k in a life cycle fund, a 2035, 2050, 2045, whatever you want to call it. And it doesn't matter the custodian. It could be a Fidelity, T. Rowe Price, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, whatever it is. They're all built or designed a certain way, and we can show you a couple things which might make you have a different perspective on that. So to start that conversation and pivot away from a life cycle fund that is also exposed to bonds, and we have talked about when interest rates rise, bond prices fall. So that's coming. We know it's coming. The Fed has announced it, telegraphed it to us. But a lot of people just sit here and go, yep, it's going to happen. And then they say, wow, my bond portfolio fell last week. Well, you know what? The Fed announced that they were raising rates, and you as a holder of bonds, you guaranteed a loss in your portfolio value. So again, to start that conversation, give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. Welcome the opportunity to provide assistance. Yes, I have to make an analysis of what you have before I can make a recommendation. And if I can't add value to what you're currently doing, then we probably don't have a basis for working together. But if I come back to you and I say, okay, I can add value X, Y, and Z, and it's probably going to make a difference 1, 2, 3, then you get to make a decision on how you want to proceed. You can do nothing. That's number one. That's not pivoting. Number two, you can engage and start receiving professional counsel and advice on a best interest of the client basis and move forward from there. So that's why you need to pivot. So here's the incentive for a inflation combater that we have put together for our listeners here on the Professional Edge, and that is the bundle. Information could be obtained at emcthebundle.com. That is Echo Mary Charlie, thebundle.com. And that's where we've combined being a licensed tax attorney, your estate planning, all your documents are taken care of, your advanced healthcare directive, your financial power of attorney, a will, or even a revocable trust. That's the front thing that I like. Majority of our clients plan their estate with a revocable living trust to avoid probate, ancillary probate, and just to ease the administration when a person becomes incapacitated or they pass away. So that's that portion of that. The other part is we do an objective portfolio review and provide that in writing to the potential client and show them, here's the great things you've been doing. Here's some things you might want to consider changing. And here's things you definitely want to change. if that is the case. And then the third prong is the tax planning, because everyone is getting their tax documents right now. They don't like paying the Internal Revenue Service. The processing is under complete pressure at the Internal Revenue Service. They haven't even processed millions of returns on 2020, and we're getting ready to file 2021. So with that in mind, then we do all three of those, and the combined value, if you were to individually engage our services, is north of $10,000. Well, guess what? Here's my pivot to you. That is all available for $3,000. Yes, I have no problem quoting the fee because that is a tremendous value. I don't know about you, but I like getting a bargain. I don't like paying full retail price for things. Yes, it annoys me. So, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. So that's where that concept comes in. And therefore, I want to give you, a listener here on the Professional Edge, that bargain. It is emcthebundle.com. So take advantage of that, or at least take the time, look at it. We're going to send you the information on that. I'm not going to hound you because I'm not going to force you. You are responsible for your safe and secure retirement, for planning your estate. And if you are not happy with all the taxes you're paid, let's see if there's a way to adjust what you're doing. And no, I'm not going to complete a fraud on the Internal Revenue Service, but there are tools and tactics and avenues that you can implement to actually reduce your taxes. And we've talked about that at different sessions here on the Professional Edge. You can go back to our podcast, and that is Professional Edge, and look for tax strategies, and you can learn some of those. Those are helpful tips. An individual was looking for tax planning. Here's one example on a pivot that we need to do going forward. He was getting ready to buy a laptop computer, a printer for his business. And he was like, okay, how do I do this? Well, you go ahead and buy it and you purchase it. And we make sure that is used 100% or 90% for business, because you may have 10% of personal use. So you're not entitled to deducting the personal use portion of that laptop. So we structure things differently inside of what you're currently doing, if we can. And again, I'm not going to put on that orange jumpsuit and be in the jail cell with you. That's not what we need to do. If you do the right things, these little things add up to big things, and therefore we make that pivot, we make that change. So again, to start that conversation, you can give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. So getting back to this pivot, we have inflation right in front of us. In the prior sessions, if you're a radio listener, you can pick those up on our podcast, Professional Edge, that's on Apple and also on Google. So when we pivot because of inflation, we have to say, okay, what else is going to be adjusted or affected by the rise in the applicable federal rate that the Fed announces? Well, it might be the interest-sensitive investments. We already talked about bonds, but what about these preferred stocks? They are interest rate sensitive as well. Not as much, but they are affected. So again, if you're a holder of a large portfolio of preferred stocks, think of bank stocks, there's that, then you potentially have the impact. It's going to be a negative impact because that cash flow that's being provided is not as valuable or as lucrative. So therefore, the underlying value of that investment would have to adjust as well. So again, it's a wake-up call to pivot and move in a different direction. You as a listener here on the Professional Edge, you can easily pivot. Getting your estate plan done, that's a pivot. That says that I had nothing to get done. I have a New Year's resolution. We're already closing out the second month of this first quarter of 2022. So pivoting means to get in a new and different direction. It is to change things. So that's my challenge to our listeners here on the Professional Edge. Actually take action on something. Yes, you're inundated with tax forms, and preparing your tax return is not tax planning. That is just being in compliance. So you need to pivot and actually take action in the right direction to change something. So to get that different result, you have to go in a different direction. The different direction is gaining information regarding your estate plan. What do I need to do to start? Well, go to our website, emcadvisors.com, Echo Mary Charlie Advisors.com, and on the right-hand side, the Ultimate Estate Planning Guide. Go ahead and click it and receive it. That's a pivot. You are actually being proactive to do something for yourself. Now, that information will get you started on considering what you need to think about for your estate plan. How much, to whom, and when. Those are the core, basic things of an estate plan. Who, when, and how much. And then who is going to be your decision makers? Who's going to be the guardian of the children? So we have that. So that's a pivot, and we are in this inflationary environment, and you as an investor need to make a pivot as well. That's my wake-up call. That's my challenge to you. To pivot, you need to adjust your portfolio. And yes, we can make adjustments inside IRAs with no tax consequence. And are you just sitting there looking at your losses in your portfolio in your after-tax account as the dodo bird or as the ostrich, and you're just ignoring things? Well, you may want to capture some of those losses and create a tax asset. Yes, it makes perfect financial sense to me, being a tax attorney and a CPA, to apply that tax planning knowledge to a client's portfolio. So we capture those tax losses because we know there's going to be capital gains distributions. We just don't sit there complacent and look at our portfolio and say, oh, it's down 10%. Okay. What do I do? Well, we act on that. We pivot, we move, we change things, and we capture those tax assets. Yes. Do we need to celebrate the loss in the portfolio? The answer is no. But let's just not sit there and do nothing. We want to capture that loss so that way we can offset our tax liability. So that's how we do it at Estate Management Counselors, combining the training as a licensed tax attorney, CPA, and a registered investment advisor. We just don't sit still. So therefore, when we capture that tax asset, we actually lower the amount of tax the client pays the Internal Revenue Service. It's all legal, and any unused loss can be carried forward indefinitely, be utilized in the forthcoming years. So that's how that all three works together. We do that tax planning, we do the investment planning, and it is all on a fee basis. We have to act in the best interest of our client as being a registered investment advisor. So again, my challenge to you as a listener here on The Professional Edge, you got to make the pivot. My name's Todd, tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. Thanks for listening to The Professional Edge.
With today's financial markets, are you getting the personal and professional attention you and your money deserve? Clients of estate management counselors benefit from having one set of professionals advise them on their tax, estate planning, and investment advice. We call that the Professional Edge. Todd is a tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. With over 15 years' experience, he welcomes the opportunity to assist you in preparing for retirement, implement effective tax planning strategies, and to help you properly plan your estate. His radio show, The Professional Edge, is aired weekly on Sundays at 9 a.m. If you're interested in meeting with call his office at 877-654-9798. That's 877-654-9798. Do you want to feel more confident about making the right investment, tax, and estate planning decisions? Today, these decisions are more complex than ever. Have you thought about working with a professional advisor and not sure who to turn to? Not sure what qualifies one to be an advisor? Todd is more than qualified as a tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. Is with Estate Management Counselors. Estate Management Counselors operates as an independent fee-only investment advisory firm. They're dedicated to gaining a personal understanding of their clients' objectives and implementing professional counsel and advice to achieve those objectives. So take a second to talk with Todd to learn how you can benefit from their multidisciplinary practice where they coordinate their clients' legal, tax, and investment strategies into one comprehensive and integrated plan to enhance and protect their clients' financial financial security. You can reach estate management counselors and speak with Seen Todd by calling 1-877-654-9798. That's 1-877-654-9798.